So I guess LDU and Zerha, would they be pretty much confirmed this week? Or?
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
We're expecting both of those guys to get through. Good for Cam to come back in the team and go back home. It's always good when you have an opportunity to go back home and play in front of some family. So yeah, but we expect both those guys to come back in, which is good.
And Aiden Core, is he probably a week away, or how's he going?
Probably, yeah, maybe a couple. We'll just wait and see. He started a bit of running last week. We've tried to move that forward this week. So I don't think his will be from the infection, but it may just be a bit of loading. I think that's where we're sort of at with those guys.
Yep. And Jamont and Lazaro, how they sort of?
Yeah, Charlie. We're expecting Charlie to train today,
Yeah.
so we'll make an assessment on where he is after training. Trent's probably in VFL. We've got a VFL game next Thursday, so it was a battle between was it this week or next week with that 5-day break. So we'll probably err on doing a bit more training and then start him next week.
I guess last week, would you sort of see that vastly improved performance against a team like Geelong? Do you sort of see that as the first real major step in this process you've been talking about for most of the year? Was it like in seeing it materialise?
Yeah, we probably felt internally. We probably felt the week before the response from the Bulldogs to Adelaide.
Yeah.
As I said, we were still in until probably 6 or 7 minutes from the end. But yeah, to travel down to Geelong, we know what a mature group they are. I mean, we've had youngish groups together at the moment that we're putting on the park, but that's the exciting thing. But yeah, I think so. To be able to, I thought there were several times throughout the game that we battled really well to stay in the game and hang in there. So I think from building that brand that we want to build, we didn't take as many chances going forward as what we would have liked. They missed shots in front of goal. So, but yeah, I think it's the last 2 weeks we've been pleased with how we've moved it forward. Yeah.
And I guess the challenge now is to keep that momentum
Yeah.
going. Are you confident, you can are you seeing signs that it is sustainable?
Yeah, I think so. Our training's been really good. There's a standard and a demand not only in games but training. I think if you get that right in your training aspect, then you bring that and you deliver that on game day. So that's the balance. With the current game, you move more into a maintenance program through the year from your training, but we need to still train hard and bring that same intensity and that same competitiveness to every game.
And speaking of competitiveness, obviously at his best, Zerha can really bring that pressure and that forward intensity. I guess that'll be a pretty good injection.
Absolutely. We've liked the fact that we've got some flexibility with certain roles. We've done that with Taron Thomas, Bailey Scott, Jaden Stevenson, and Cam's a little bit the same, be able to go in the midfield, play forward. So I think that versatility for us is something that we like to think we're going to have some strengths in that going forward. Yeah.
No, it's such a young group and not a lot of them would have gone to Perth before to play senior football. How do you approach that as coach? Is that something you bring up during the week?
Yeah, we need to make sure that they plan and understand. I mean, I think one of the areas that you can get caught in is just eating too much. You go to the buffet and you eat probably more than you normally would, and the coaches probably fall into that as well. But I think from a preparation to play, it's really important that they understand what that process looks like, what their pre-game meal looks like, what the travel on the plane for 4 hours looks like. So those side of things I think are really important for our guys. We had a few that experienced that in the Gold Coast game, but we've probably got close to half our team that probably haven't been to Perth to play, so that's a challenge for us.
On some individuals, we had a chat to Jaden Stevenson during the week.
Yep.
You mentioned how he's been thrown around a diverse amount of roles,
Yeah.
and he's really been enjoying that.
Yeah.
How important is that for someone so young, a 22-year-old, to give him a look at all those different areas of the ground?
Yeah, well, I think the one aspect that we've liked is that in each of the roles that we've had him in, he can bring his strengths, whether it's wing, whether it's inside midfield or outside midfield, whether it's as a forward. He's got great speed, and if he brings that clean take and that speed to any of those roles, we get value from him in that sense. So he's one, I think, out of our group that does handle moving from position to position in a game. There are a few that sometimes, particularly when they're young, going from wing to half forward to midfield can sometimes confuse them a little bit. But I think Steve-O has got enough experience now to know when he moves from a role, he just needs to bring his weapons to that role.
Is that philosophy part of building him to be something in the future? So there's the short term that he can help fix certain areas, but then the long term is it's just going to build him into a phenomenal footballer potentially?
Yeah. I think so. That's our aim. Our aim is to continue to see him playing higher up the ground. We know that he loves kicking goals, so if we can get him in that position higher up the ground, because his ability to connect and bring others into the game is also probably undervalued, I think. And so if we're able to bring him up there and know that longer term we can use him as a strike forward, but also we can use him as a key part of our midfield, that's great for us.
You've lost 6 your last 7 in Perth, and not a great record. Is that something you use possibly as a goal in the pre-match heading into it as a target?
It's certainly something you don't sweep under the carpet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, listen, you know, there's reasons why. We've got to go there with a clear plan. And part of that is bringing your right mentality on the plane. You know, you can't just leave it here and say, well, we'll just do it when we get to Marvel or... You cannot pick and choose your mentality. That has got to be there every single time. And that's probably the thing that I think the last 2 weeks our guys have started to really get their heads around.
Yeah. And I guess with these rolling fixtures, it sort of provides a unique opportunity. I guess because the AFL even last year, they showed with the Gold Coast that if you do play well, you might get a prime time spot.
Yeah.
Does that factor into the motivation of the playing group as well?
Probably, probably for our club it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I probably tend to have those discussions with Brady and with Ben in regards to making sure that we're delivering on what we want to build. Probably not so much from a player's perspective, but having said that, we're also aware of our responsibility on Good Friday.
Yes.
Like they're aware of what our responsibility in those big games are. We didn't deliver, but there's an awareness of it for sure.
Yeah. I guess looking at the game, I guess does Mackay get the job on Taverner? Do you reckon at this stage?
What do you reckon?
Probably.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, he's been pretty good, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's been really solid. So look, we've also got Josh Walker. You know, has got some great experience down back as well. So we'll probably wait and see where the forwards roll in certain phases of the game. But I mean. Yeah, he's been in terrific form.
Yeah, and does Andrew Brayshaw get a bit more attention than he would usually? He seems to be really improving here, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh no. Well, he was highly rated.
Yeah.
You know, at my previous club, like he was right up in the top mix. So, well, it's a combination, is it? You know, Fife's dangerous. Mundy's in great form.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got Brayshaw who's still learning his craft. So, we probably need to do a bit of work on all three, and depending on where it goes. But yeah, he's flagging really well, so he can be a dangerous mid for sure.
Yeah.